Everybody, we go to the next part two of the first chapter of the first chapter. The universe is the chapter's name. Subheading or subchapter is the size of the universe. We have already seen in the first video that the Greeks thought, like children, that the sky is just 8 feet above the hills. And now we go to the second part of that first chapter, the size of the universe. It is natural to suppose, to begin with, that the sky is simply a hard canopy in which the shining heavenly bodies are just like diamonds, isn't it? Like the dome. Then the Bible refers to the sky as the firmament, from the same Latin root as the word firm. As only in the 6th to the 4th centuries BC, Greek is as early as the 4th and 6th century BC, okay, as early as the 6th to the 4th century BC, Greek astronomers realized that there must be more than one canopy. So, like that. Canopy means just like that, a dome like thing. So they realized with their observations, and what were the observations? For while the fixed stars were there, moved around Earth in a body, apparently without changing their relative positions, they moved totally. This is not true of the sun, the moon, and five bright star like objects: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Okay? In fact, in fact, each moved, each moved in a separate path, because they observed that they are all moving, including the five more shining stars, more shining stars. They are actually planets. And these five planets, sun and moon, are moving. So they thought, how comes they thought that there is something like this, isn't it? So what they said, each has one its own, like this, like this, like this. I mean, that was their theory. And that was the Greek theory, really. There was no theory about planets. In fact, they thought Earth was the center, you realize. So these seven bodies were called planets. Okay, from a Greek word meaning wanderer. And it seemed obvious that they could not be attached to the vault of the stars. So, because they're moving, that whole dome or vault, VAULT, vault of the stars, they can't be attached. Each has its own, like nestled, one after the other. Like you put cups one after the other, cups like that, like that. Like plates on one on top of the other. So now we come to the last paragraph. The Greeks assumed that each planet was set in an invisible spherical vault of its own, right? And that the walls were nested, which is one after the other, like plates put over one another, nested one above the other. The nearest belonging to the planet that moved fastest. The nearest was fastest, the other was which was going more slowly. Okay. The quickest motion belonged to the moon. So first there was the moon, which circled the sky in about 27 and a third days. 27 and third days, it went from the whole sky. They observed that. And beyond it lay in order, so thought the Greeks, Mercury, Venus, right? Our sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, because that is how they saw like that. Fastest, next fastest, and that was the size of the universe and the theory which the Greeks came up with at that time. That completes the first chapter, the size of the universe, early measurements. The universe is the chapter's name. Early measurements is the subchapter's name. Okay. Now we are doing this slowly, like The size of the universe is the first chapter. The size of the universe is a sub chapter of the main chapter, the universe. The universe, the size of the universe as a, is the sub chapter. We have completed the first sub chapter, the first subheading. Okay, next subheading would be early measurements. So, size of the universe, early measurements is the next subheading. Remember that. Okay, we have completed the introduction. Thank you so much.